Good evening, ma'am. Today in this session, I'm going to explain about what is Python and face recognition using GUI. So before going into the topic, let me introduce myself. And my name is B. Sai Chand, and my roll call is 21951A1269, and I am from IT department B section, and the subject is Python programming. So let's outlines of this presentation are introduction to Python and what is GUI, followed by face recognition using GUI, and at last conclusion. So what is Python? Python is a general purpose high level interpreted programming language. General purpose means machine learning, GUI, software development, web development, etc. It supports object oriented programming approach to develop applications. So Python is designed by Gudio van Rossum. Gudio van Rossum began working on Python in late 1980s as a successor to the ABC programming language, and first released it in 1991 as Python. Python 2.0 was released in 2000 and introduced new features such as list comprehensions, a cycle detecting garbage collecting system. So Python provides many useful features which make it popular and valuable from other programming languages. So Python features are simplicity, open source, portability, embeddable and extensible, interpreted, large standard library, and object oriented, and many. So what is GUI? Graphical User Interface. The graphical user interface GUI is a form of user interface that allows users to interact with electronic devices that through graphical icons and audio indicators such as primary notations instead of text-based users interfaces, typed command labels or text navigations. GUIs were introduced in reaction to the perceived steep learning curve of command line interfaces, which require commands to be typed on a computer keyboard. The actions in a GUI are usually performed through direct manipulation of graphical elements. Beyond computers, GUIs are used in many handheld mobile devices such as MP3 players, portable media players, gaming devices, smartphones, and smaller household office industrial control. So the term GUI tends not to apply to other lower display resolution type of interfaces such as video games where head-up display is preserved. So or not including flat screens like volumetric displays because the term is restricted to the scope of two-dimensional display screens able to describe genetic information in the tradition of the computer science research at Xerox Palo Alto Research Center. So basically what is face recognition system? So a facial recognition system is a technology capable of matching a human face from a digital image or a video frame against a database of faces, typically employed to authenticate users through ID verification services. Works by pinpointing and measuring facial features from a given image. So Python face recognition using GUI. So in this presentation, a fairly simple way is mentioned to implement facial recognition system using Python and OpenCV module along with explanation of the code step by step in the comments. So before starting, we need to install some libraries in order to implement the code. Below you will see the usage of the library along with. So before starting, we need to install some libraries in order to implement the code. So below there are usage of library along with code to install it. So OpenCV, Open Source Computer Vision Library, is an open source computer vision and machine learning software library which is built to provide a common infrastructure for machine learning algorithms and computer visions. It has thousands of optimized algorithms which can be used different purposes like detecting and recognizing faces, identifying objects, and many more. We need it to take pictures using our webcam, and some other manipulation needed to be done in the image. To install the library, we need to install pip in your system. After that, you can follow the steps in command prompt. Step 1, pip install OpenCV Python. Pip install Open Contribute Python. NumPy. NumPy is a fundamental package of scientific computing in Python which provides a multi-dimensional array object. The other mathematical operation can be performed using this, but simply speaking, we just need it to convert our image into some forms of an array so that we can store the model that has been trained. To install the library, you can type a simple line of code in your command shell: pip install numpy. R Cascade is a basically classifier which is used to detect the objects for which it is has been trained for from the sources. The result is an XML file which stores the trained result. If said simply, Cascade is trained by superimposing the positive image over a set of negative images. The training requires a high spec system and a good internet connection and thousands of training images. That is why it carried out in the server. For increasing the efficiency of the result, they use high quality images and increase the number of stages for which the classifier is trained. And we need R Cascade for frontal face recognition to detect the face from our webcam. So Python GUI. Twinkter. Twinkter is a simple GUI module used for implementing the fairly simple GUI and helps us to interact with code in a simple way. For understanding the code, it's not important for you to know how it works. So now we are going to design a small GUI application to implement a small scale security system to keep our system safe and monitor in it our web absence. We will implement face and eye detection mechanism for our purpose. Face detection has become a very popular problem in the field of computer vision application and security systems. So several kinds of ready-made methods have been devised to deal with the problems. One of them is used for R cascades. So we are going to implement this method. For the development of our application, we will be using libraries like Pillow and OpenCV. So our application. Now let's jump into our application. As we have already seen, it's kind security application. Say you are working in an office or a library or in a public place. You go out somewhere leaving your device unattended for a short period of time. By device mean laptop or desktops. Now if someone tries to make some changes in your device and tries to spy upon something you are working on, you may need to know. This is where our application chip in. It aims to capture any movement or change that are made to your device in your absence. So now the question is, how does it work? Well, here we go. It works on timer that is set by you when you launch the application. Say we set the timer to 10 seconds. So the application is designed to capture an image every 10 seconds and check for a face. If face is found, it will found to look for eyes. It is because often side profile faces are captured and classified, but we don't want those. So until face and eyes are found, it keeps on rejecting the image. If it is found, it starts clicking screenshots every time it detects eyes. If the screenshots reflect any change, it also starts saving the screenshots. It provides time details in the corner of each image to keep track. If it maintains a timer file which helps it to compare to screenshots. You can also integrate an alarm system when the inform the owner if there is a change in screenshot using a SMPT implementation or a message service in Python. So this is our basic idea. It is just a way to show how this aspect of computer vision can be implemented in our regular lives. Let's take a look at the required libraries. So this is the code. So this code can be run to install the required libraries. I have created installer function for Ubuntu. You can also check the requirements and install them separately. Now we move to the basic imagining libraries and OpenCV functions, which are used to detect the faces and screenshot difference for our application. So this is the code. So this function is used to read images and check for the detection of faces and eyes. The faces list and eyes list stores the information about the detected faces and eyes. So we check their lengths at line 15 and line 25 respectively to check whether something is detected or not. If not, the length returned is 0, so the function returns 1. So that is that it has failed or to detect faces or eyes, else it returns 1. So if we display the images, this kind of detected images will be displayed. So this 60 lines code. So this is our capture functions to start the webcam and capturing images frames according to the timer. So we can see here at line 48. So at line 48, our previously defined read image function is used, and if it is detect faces and eyes, it returns 1 consequently. So it triggers the screen capture method using the take screenshot method line 50. So on stopping the cameras, we are sent to this final screen. The display frames and display screen options will lead us to the corresponding folder respectively. This way we can create a desktop shortcut to launch the application. So here's the conclusion. This is how we can create a small scale application using OpenCV, Python and imagining libraries. So that's all in this presentation. Hope this presentation was informative, and thank you.